Alright now, guys. I know it's been a little bit, but, I've been really busy looking at all these different worlds, and it's like I told you, I'm starting to figure things out. I'm starting to see the patterns. You know, it's astounding some of the stuff I've seen. I've seen worlds where, I'm like the richest inventor ever. Like I had more money than I could spend. I had stuff, all kinds of stuff, you wouldn't even think to buy until you had the kind of money that could buy the stuff, and then you're like, I didn't even realize that was something I could buy. You know, I didn't even realize it was stuff that you could have, but I had it, and it's stuff that exists in our world, but you don't think to buy it until you have the money to buy it. I mean, I found a world where I was like this evil dictator. I had my private island with the volcano headquarters and the minions all over the place running around guarding my island, and doomsday devices. Oh god, the doomsday devices were awesome. I had 3 different weapons that could wipe out cities, just like entire cities at a time. You just program them and bam, no more Toronto. Nope, no more Seattle, Washington. And let me tell you something. After coming back to this world, looking at the weather they have, I think we'd all be better off if there was, no Seattle and no Seattle rain. Plus, come on, man. They gave us Starbucks. Aren't we all just about sick of that coffee? But look, the point is, I found multiple worlds where I had everything a person could want, everything a person could need. And I saw the patterns. I talked to my alternate selves, which, it was hard to do, because trying to convince them that my story was true, it's like I told you before, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it myself, if I hadn't been to these other worlds. But I was able to convince my other selves. Except for that one world where cloning was pretty common, because, that, I gotta admit, that's a really good reason to not believe in alternate realities when, you've already got clones of yourself running around the place. Not a fun world. I didn't spend very long there. But the thing is, the ones I did convince, I talked to them. I told them, that I wanted to know why they had accomplished things I had never even thought to try and accomplish, and how they did it. And I know stuff was different in their world. There was different starting points. But there was always a common pattern. There was always that common theme of finding the perfect moment to make the opportunity. Of just going out there and saying, you know what? This is my goal, and I'm going to make it happen. Even if I have to create a situation where there is a need for what I can do. And that's the thing. That's the first answer. You've got to have that one specific goal, and then you chase it full force. And that gave all my other counterparts that had succeeded, that had the money, that had the social status, that had the fame. That's what they all had in common. Oh, and dude, let me tell you, there was one world. My God. My wife. Like, I've never even seen a woman that beautiful in this world. And she was there, and she was my wife, and it it was really hard not to hate myself or my alternate self, because I mean, she wasn't just hot, she was smart, and she was cool. She, went out and did charities, and it's I was so jealous of myself. I couldn't believe it. And, I just, once I convinced him what I was, and I talked to him, and it was like, really? And I can't tell you how he got her. I can't tell you. Because, see, deep down inside, I figured out that how he won her over, how he keeps her in love with him, it's, there's a technique. It's like I told you before. It's like cheat coding life. Because it wasn't just him. There were other worlds where I had other women, and the pattern was there. The underlying truth was there, and that was awesome. That was something that I'm gonna have to keep that one a secret. That's a theory I'm gonna be testing very soon, because hey, if I can get the women before I get the money, I know she's not just marrying me for my money, right? But I'm digressing. I went to these worlds, and I went to worlds where I didn't succeed so much, where I was kind of worse off than I am now. I went to a world where I was a homeless bum, living out on the street, wearing clothes that hadn't been washed in 2 weeks. And I talked to myself. And that, I'll be honest, that was really hard. To see a version of myself that was suffering that much. And knowing that I really couldn't change his life too much. Because, I told you, there's those guys in that in-between place, that big hotel, building, way station place. They've got rules about how much you can interfere, but, I think I gave them a little bit of hope that it'll be better. I mean, at least I hope so. Maybe I'll go back to that world and check on me. But, it's not just that. I mean, there are other worlds where, I was doing okay. I talked to them too. Because that's the point. If I want to beat reality, I want to outsmart everything, I can't just know about success. I've got to understand failure too. So I talk to my failure selves, and I'm starting to figure stuff out. But I have to be careful, because as I said, those creepy things that help me find the right worlds, that help all the travelers find the right worlds, they have their rules. And I don't want to cross them, because they know what world I'm on at any given point. And I don't want them coming after me, because I don't even really know what they do to people that break the rules. But they've got the answers. They've got the power. So I gotta keep one eye on them. I gotta remember their rules. I gotta make sure I don't cross the rules. But I'm gonna make it all work. I'm gonna get everything I want in life. I'm going to get it because somebody has to have it. So I'm going to take it all. And I'm going to be like those other versions of me that have the money, that have the fame, that have the women. Heck, there was a few of them that had some men, which, I mean, you know, that's perfectly fine. Isn't that how it goes? In a universe where it's everything is possible and probable, where every world with every possible iteration and variant exists, well, of course there's going to be several thousand where, you know, I'm not into women. There's, I think the guy said about another several thousand where I'm into both and everything, and you know, that's fine. I'm not judging myself. Themselves, those other selves. I mean, I know what I like. Don't. The point is, the happiness was there. And they got it on their world, and I should have it on my world. And I'm going to take it from this world. Because why not? People have it everywhere, in all realities. Happiness exists. And you know, that's the other thing I've seen in every world. There's the people that, you know, they inherit happiness. They inherit easy paths. They're just given stuff because they had parents who were kings. They had grandparents who were incredibly smart, rich business people. They had uncles who discovered whales. And they rode those coattails. Every universe there was that kind of unfair inequality to every society. You know, I mean, except for the versions where nobody had anything because, you know, bad people took over the world and conquered. You know how that goes. There's, you know, again, there's always a reality where, you know, this evil dictator won, or, you know, the U.S. president was pulled a Star Wars evil emperor thing and actually was a huge scary dictator. You know what? I mean, seriously. I'm going to try not to get political here, but when you've seen a reality where the president really did scam Congress and the country into letting him destroy democracy and establish himself as this tyrannical dictator for life. You know, when you've seen a history book talk about how that went down and you've been to that America, the stuff our people do, it is nothing. I mean, it puts it all in perspective. You know, people like to say scary buzzwords. But let me tell you, when your mind has figured out how to find other worlds, when your mind has seen the reality of situations like that, you quit thinking in hype and paranoia. But it's all going to be okay. Because, see, we're not on that world. And I'm not going to let those kind of things happen on my earth. When I make my life the life I want it to be, when I cheat code my life, then I'm going to make sure we have the Earth that all those other alternate people are jealous of. And that's when I'm really going to win. That's when I'm going to go down as the guy everybody else wants to be. When everybody realizes I made hundreds of thousands of multiverses jealous of our Earth. Oh, sure, they may have an Earth where there's no such thing as STDs, but we're going to have an Earth where everybody is awesome. Because there will be no more free rides and inherited wealth. There'll be no more lazy people living off money that their ancestors made, buying their way into the tops of society. You just hang on. Because the next time I leave this world and go to another world, I know exactly where I'm going. And those freaky guys that watch over everything, well, I'm going to figure out how they manage to be the ones put in charge. And I'm going to take that power from them too. That's what it's going to come to. That's what it's all about. Everybody is going to win when I win. Just trust me.